G'day from suburban Dallas, and in this video I'll tell you all about what the drivers drove to the Istanbul Grand Prix. Topping the list for my money was Sebastian Vettel's car, and at the bottom end probably one of the team principals driving a Dacia. More in a moment. "20 drivers and a handful of team principals. I'll run through them in this video. Let's kick it off with the Mercedes drivers. Lewis Hamilton, what did he drive? He drove nothing because he was staying in a motorhome at the track, so he walked into the track 4 days running, 3 in interesting outfits and 1 in an interesting pair of pants and a long black raincoat. And the race winner, Valtteri Bottas, he stayed away from the track and he drove in each day in a black Mercedes, an S400D. Here it is. And on one of the days came in a t-shirt, just a normal t-shirt here, changed into his Mercedes shirt and walked into the track with his luggage. As you know, I travel a lot doing this job, and when I go to places like China where social media sites are pretty much banned, I need to use a VPN, and my VPN of choice is Surfshark. Surfshark's a browser extension and an app that allows you to place your device anywhere in the world, and it allows you to use the internet as if you were in that particular country. There are other advantages too. For instance, Netflix. I've got an Australian account, so really all I can see is Australian content. But if I log on as I'm in America or in Brazil, I get to see whatever content they're privy to. And that provides an array of new entertainment. And if you're looking for a VPN, I have some great news for you, because if you use the promo code KIM at the checkout, you'll not only save 83%, you'll get 3 months free. And there's a money-back guarantee. Thank you, Surfshark. What about the Honda boys? The 4 of them, Max, Sergio, Pierre and Yuki. Well, they all had the same car, a Honda Accord. Different colours, of course, but these are larger cars, quite nice, and at the lower end of the price spectrum in terms of what these drivers drove. These start at about $25,000 US in America, and are lovely cars. Even the team car, which ferries the likes of Helmut and Christian Horner to and from wherever they're staying, was the same Honda. Now, this was the race that should have been held in Japan, and the Red Bull team made quite a big deal of Honda here, obviously changing the livery of the cars that they were racing to white, and here posing for various photos with the cars with the drivers to celebrate their association with Honda, which finishes at the end of this year. Daniel Ricciardo and Lando Norris, McLaren drivers, both arrived in XC90s. Both were black, and this is a luxury mid-size SUV. Seats 7 comfortably, and I did notice there's B5 on the back, and this denotes the cheapest of the engines in this range of cars. They can be petrol or diesel, and they're both mild hybrids, meaning that they recuperate energy when braking, which can then be used to aid economy or acceleration later. You don't plug these cars in, but they do have some element of electric energy. Both the McLaren drivers driving XC90s, and strangely enough, so were both of the Alpine drivers. No Renaults for them this particular race. They mirrored the McLaren drivers in XC90s. Once again, black in colour. Now, the Ferrari drivers have driven some great cars this year. So were they standouts in Istanbul? No, they were just Jeeps. Nice Jeeps, obviously. 4x4s. Now let's get onto the Aston Martins, because I know that's why a lot of you are here. I'm going to start with Lance Stroll. Lance was driving this silver Rapide S. Now this vehicle is not new. These were manufactured between 2013 and 2018. I believe this is more of a 2017 model. It's a hardtop, as you can see. It's 5-door, well, 4 doors and 1 hatchback. It's a nearly 6-litre V12 engine, 550 horsepower, and does 0 to 100 in about 4.2 seconds. But in actual fact, Lance wasn't driving that car. He was staying in a motorhome and walked in each morning, but that car was driven in, and he actually posed for a photo in front of it on the Sunday, because they were cars that were given to the team. Unfortunately, I can't tell you who provided the cars, because I don't know, but they were registered in the Izmir area, which is probably 400 or 500 kilometres away on the Aegean coast. A couple of things about this car that I love: the sexy door handles, the way that the doors open slightly up, not directly out. It has a top speed of 330 kilometres an hour, and when you lift the bonnet, you can see on the nameplate that's underneath that hood the name of the person who inspected the car. That's a nice touch. And the colour, I believe, is a solent silver. The second of the 3 Aston Martins was a Db11 hardtop, driven by Otmar Safnauer. This colour is Seychelles Blue. I did some research on Seychelles to find out what blue they have there, and obviously they have clear skies a lot of the time and a magnificent looking sea, and that's what this car is named after. Now, Seb's car, the Db11 Valante. This is a soft top. It's beautiful. On the Thursday, he came in this car with the roof off. That was the only day of the 4 that he came in with the roof off. I found one of these cars on sale on the Vimcom website, which is from Singapore, and this is 770,000 Singapore dollars, which equates to about 570,000 US dollars. Singapore is one of the most expensive places to own a car, so this price is jacked up deluxe. The same car in America you'd probably get for around half that price. This is a V8, the colour is Dubonnet Rosso, and I did actually find a couple of other cars going back to, say, the DB5 in this same colour, and doesn't it look gorgeous? It's a 4-seater, although the back seats are quite small. It's a 2-door, it's an 8-speed, it goes 0 to 100 in 4.1 seconds, and Seb actually drove the car, not Anti. I thought it was the most spectacular car of all of the 20 drivers driving in. The Ferrari drivers were driving Jeeps, and so too were both the Alfa Romeo drivers, Kimi driving this blue one, and Antonio driving the white one. And they've driven Jeeps a number of times earlier in the year. And why weren't they driving Alfa Romeos in Istanbul? I have no idea. I would have thought it would have been an obvious choice, but no, they've ended up with Jeeps. 2 more teams, the Williams drivers, both Nicholas Latifi and George Russell, driving different cars. And Nicholas Latifi, a white GLE 350D, and George Russell in a blue Mercedes E200D. And that just leaves the Haas drivers to talk about. First up, Nikita Mazepin. Well, he was staying in a motorhome. He had a very short trip to get to the track, so there was no car. He rode a scooter. And this is a scooter from Segway. It's called a 9-bot e-kick scooter F30. Pretty inexpensive in the scheme of things, 650 US dollars for one of these. And he got up a fair speed coming in. He's not actually allowed to ride it in the paddock, and I did notice that a couple of the people on the gates actually asked his trainer to please have a word with Nikita and tell him not to ride it in the paddock, but I'm not sure the message sunk in. And on the Saturday when he left the track, he came out on his scooter, but there were some guys waiting around for autographs, and he was good enough to stop and have a chat with them for a little bit, sign a couple of autographs, do some selfies, and then take his scooter back to the motorhome. And finally, his teammate Mick Schumacher was in a BMW iX3, which is the electric version of the X3. It's quiet. Nearly bowled me over, I know it's quiet. Does 0 to 100 in about 6 seconds. Sells for around £60,000 in the UK, and you can expect it to do about 260 kilometres on one charge. That's your 20 drivers, and in just a moment I'll run through what a few of the team principals were in, including the team principal driving the Dacia. If you're flying economy with a friend and you're going on a plane with 3 seats either side of the aisle and you'd like to sit alone, do this. Book the window and book the aisle, leave the middle seat free. Most times it will remain free because nobody wants to sit in the middle seat. And if somebody does sit in the middle seat, you simply say, hey, would you like to sit on the aisle or the window? They'll always say yes. So which team principal was driving this Dacia Logi, a little minivan? It was Alpine's Marcin Budkowski. He's a lovely fella, and I did have a laugh because on the Sunday he mentioned to us that he'd actually had that Logi for a couple of the days, and then he decided, no, I'm getting rid of it, and he swapped it for another team member's Renault Megane. So he started in this and he finished in that. But those cars are quite good value. They start, I think, at around 15,000 euros, and I don't think you'd pay much more than about 19,000 for one. What about the Ferrari management? They often come in some interesting cars. This time they were in a Peugeot 5008. I know nothing about this car except it's regarded as a grand SUV. And our final driver today is Andreas Seidel, the team boss of McLaren, driving this pale blue S90 Volvo. Last race he was in a Tiguan. This time he's gone for a Volvo. An interesting array of cars. They're being driven by the drivers and team principals. If you've enjoyed the video, now's the time to hit the like button. We can do it together. Here we go. Done. You'll find all of my images at prostarpics.com. My F1 driver photo books are at kimillman.com. And for my best images live from the track, And during the week, head to Instagram at Kim Illman. Thanks for watching and stay passionate.